Going live, going live, going live. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are live and happy Halloween to everyone. It is your host of the most Griever, as always, bringing guys another podcast time, a live podcast, as it were, because I'm actually right out of the gate. Let's talk about podcasts, because a lot of podcasts are audio only, in fact. So the idea of me creating a podcast, and multiple people do that too, you instinctively think of a podcast as an audio only, a radio show, if you will. Like, I have the face for radio. You know what I mean? But, however, we've now evolved into a situation. Technology has evolved to a point where podcasts technically can be both video and audio. I mean, realistically speaking, anybody could actually watch all my videos, all my reviews and stuff like that, and unless I'm portraying visuals on screen that won't be understood, you could literally just jump in and you could listen to my reviews. You could listen to my reactions. You don't actually need the visuals. You know? I mean, I like to think I'm a pretty good looking guy, but at the end of the day, if you don't want to see my smug face, then you only need to listen to my smug ass voice, right? So, yeah. The right out of the gate, calling it a podcast already is contradictory in the strictest sense. Or it's not contradictory, or that podcast has evolved into a more broad term. Hard to say. But yeah, happy Halloween, everybody. This is a spur of the moment because finished watching my take on football Sunday. Seriously, like, I've had enough football and stuff for right now, and unfortunately I had to stay sober because I had to drive my brother downtown to his wife is into drag and all that other shit. So whatever it is, burlesque, drag, all that stuff. So he needed a ride downtown, yada yada yada. So I finished dropping him off about, I don't know, an hour ago or so. Or actually now it'd be like 2 hours ago. So, yeah, so they're into that shit. I dropped him downtown and then, boom, I pieced it back home. But I've watched my Cowboys destroy the Rams, which is sort of, it's great for me as a Cowboys fan, but, like, I like the Rams, so, you know, I wish we had done this level of devastation against the Chargers, because I have no good feelings for the Chargers, so you know what I mean? So, yeah, so, I just decided to stream, you know, because, well, there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons behind it. Let's put the horse before the cart this time, all right? Let's talk about why I decided to stream while I'm overtired, you know, and, you know, right before a Monday work week and all that stuff. Let's talk about that for a quick moment. All right. And once again, it's the Bitch, Moan, and Complain podcast. So if you guys came here expecting anything else other than me bitch, moaning, and complaining, I don't know why you clicked the video. But, alright, so my big thing is that, oh my, are you serious? I just lost my first train of thought. See, that's how bad it is. Yeah, overall, so my whole plan was to watch Sunday football and all that stuff and have a great time, and I did. But I think my big thing was, oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah, I'm not crazy. You guys can tell I have a new office. well, not a new office, but new furniture. It's been revamped. We have all this new pretty furniture and stuff. I believe I shared pictures in the Discord of the desk that's in front of me, which is much prettier than just the old entertainment stand right here. But a beautiful cherry wood finish with a bunch of, like, I priced it up and then I found the little ticket inside one of the drawers and stuff. This shit is worth over $5,000 plus. And that was in 2019. So I can't imagine what it's worth now. So I got all this gorgeous furniture for nothing. Took it out, on my own gas mileage. And yeah, it took me about 3 days. We transported it on Monday. Then it sat in my rec room in the way for a couple of days while I was working and doing other things. Then Thursday, Friday, and morning of Saturday, I got it all set up. Then I did a bunch of YouTube videos, right? So it's all good. It's all good. But that was the excuse for why I didn't get to One Piece, Kengan, all that fun jazz. So, fact of the matter is that I am a happy motherfucker right now. I am a happy motherfucker because, guys, you might not be able to see it all because you only see this one top, right? You guys don't understand how beautiful the room looks now compared to what it was before. You got to remember, I had a desk from 1996 my entire life. And then I recently just upgraded it last year. And then I got all this gorgeous furniture with the cherry wood finish, which, once again, cherry wood, mwah, chef's kiss to cherry wood. I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the setup. I don't mind having 5 days worth of, tomfoolery. Of course, asking my father and my brother for help was a pain in the ass, so I just said fuck it and I did it all myself. Hence why it took an entire week, right? Because I decided to deconstruct the furniture and rebuild it inside the office rather than ask for help. Because, I don't know, call me a martyr or call me somebody who's practical, because it'd be like, yeah, alright, hey, brother, why don't you come help me lift these 3 things? It'll take us about an hour. Well, he'll pencil me in next Tuesday. And then when I talk to my dad, it's like, yeah, okay, now I feel like I'm in his way. You know what I mean? So it just, basically, yeah, I wasted 3 days doing all this and got nothing else accomplished. However, it got done by this date. I promise you, had I asked for help, I would have got it, but none of this would have been set up before Halloween. That's just a fact. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it happens. So. Anyway, so right now, what I'm doing right now, ladies and gentlemen, is just basking in the gloriousness of my new office with over $5,000 worth of custom furniture that I got for nothing. All it took me was a little bit of gas. And I am a happy camper. Let me tell you, I am a happy motherfucking camper. Plus, the Cowboys won, and they destroyed the Rams. So I am sitting here in some shit my wife bought me that's all furry and stuff, so I'm warm. And yeah, I really do need to rethink the background though, because the background was way better before, with all the, in my opinion, you guys can give me your opinion, but it had, the bookcases and all the manga volumes and stuff, and now it feels really bare. It feels sort of empty. I think I need to hang a few, posters, anime posters, or some maps from, Dragon Age or Skyrim or some shit. You know what I mean? Just put a few things here in the background, and then we'll be all good and stuff. Actually, I haven't completed my One Piece collection, but I just decided to straight up buy. I mean, I was drunk, but I still decided to say, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to complete the One Piece up until Wano, and I bought $250 worth of One Piece volumes. I said, fuck it. I'm just going to complete it, and then I'll work on from there. So, $250 worth of One Piece volumes are incoming. So, but that gets me from volume 1 all the way to volume 92, 91, something like that. So, it completes all the in between volumes and stuff. So I decided to do that, and yeah. So either way, yeah, because I have an original painting of Ceres and Alucard from Helsing, from a Comic-Con that my friend attended, and he bought it for me, and it was my birthday gift and stuff, and really nice of him to do that. And it's an original oil painting. It's gorgeous, right? But of course, it's an odd size, so I have to make my own frame for it, and I'm not going to just put tacks in that shit. No. So I still have it, and my plan now that I've got this outside of the bookcases, which, by the way, the bookcase is over here. You guys can't see it, but all the manga volumes are still over that way. I plan to mount it right here. So I just need to work on that. But guys, forgive me, I'm tired. I still need to fix my truck. I still need to do a bunch of shit. And the fact that I'm even live streaming right now tonight is like, this was a spur of the moment idea. Like, just to get some content out there so my channel doesn't die. Right? So yeah. Anyways, how's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? We'll check in. Oh, the chat's actually going. I haven't been looking because it's all about me. It's all about me. Which, by the way, Matthew Perry died, and I am absolutely devastated. Matthew Perry is one of my favorite actors from Friends, because I grew up with Friends, obviously, 90s kid. Yeah. That really sucks. I'd like to believe... You know what the problem with that is? Is that, what do they say? Like, bad things come in triplets or something like that. So, a longtime rival company head, who's more successful than our company, he just died last week. And then, I forget who else died. Somebody else died. Who was like sort of like important or something like that. And now Matthew Perry died, and it was like, fuck. Like, can we stop with the death already? Because all these people died, like the boss of the other construction company that, you know, was sort of a rival, but we had a good rapport with, and we loved the guys and stuff, and now we have to go to the wake and stuff. And I mean, and I don't mean that in a bad sense that we have to. No, I actually like the guy. Yeah, we bidded on different jobs and we were rivals in that regard, but I still like the man, you know, and I didn't want him to die. He died at 55, and it's like crazy. And then Matthew Perry dies at 54, and then somebody else dies. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Why are all these people dropping off at 54? Like, goddamn, I still don't have kids yet, and I'm 32. And I'm like, I don't want to be dead at 54 with kids. You know what I mean? So, yeah. One of those things. People gotta stop dying off. I mean, I'd be good with all the... Alright, this is gonna sound harsh, but I mean, every comedian's made the joke, so I don't feel bad for making it. I'd be okay with all the fucking, like... And I mean the far top of the echelon Republicans and people like that. I'd be fine with them killing off a bunch of their grandparents and themselves. That's okay. That's okay. You know, it would ease up traffic. Don't have to deal with a bunch of bigots. It would work. It would work out pretty well. But outside of that, I'm like, yeah, wait, whoa. I don't want a lot of good people dying, you know? Because there's no equivalent here. Like, we didn't sacrifice 500,000 Republicans from Matthew Perry. Like, Jesus Christ. Granted, I wouldn't even take that bet. Like, yeah, no, I still wouldn't take that bet. Matthew Perry was better than 500 million. Yeah, I wouldn't take that bet. Craziness. All right, let's jump into the chat before I get canceled. Well, I'm already canceled, I'm sure. I'm sure I said something that I won't understand for another 20 years, and somebody will cancel me for it. And, you know, every once in a while, I give them a little slap. You know, like Sean Connery from 1976 saying he could slap a woman around once in a while. And all of a sudden, in 2023, we judge a man 50 years prior. Some type of bullshit. Oh, ban. First comment is Ban Marsh. I'm curious why that motherfucker hasn't joined me in the VC already. Alright. By the way, I am in the VC, as you guys can tell, so anybody with privilege is allowed to join if they so choose. So Ban shows he rears his ugly ass head. Just to shit on me on the Halloween thing. Artist said Ban finally show up to this, huh? Yeah, really? Mango Manga says, I'm dressing up as Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street for a Halloween party. That's an awesome... Listen, last year I did Bandit from Smokey and the Bandit and stuff like...
Hello. I love Discord join sounds. They're great. And kind of annoying depending on when you use them.
Holy shit, I did not know what happened. I thought my computer had a heart attack.
Yeah, I don't know how many people you've got that happen to VCs that have those set up.
No. Alright, my D&D group that I joined, they have a few of those, and we
Okay.
those, but
yeah, that's the other situation where they're awkward, when people are hopping in and out of calls.
You would have felt bad if I had a heart attack, wouldn't you?
I would have felt bad. Hey, Ben.
Yo, I'll be right back. I'll take the dog out the piss real quick.
Alright,
nice.
Alright. Good, because I do need to catch up with the chat. I didn't realize that I was going to actually have a chat. I thought I'd be bitch moaning and complaining about myself for like 30 minutes and be done.
Oh, well, that's fun.
Well, I mean, like, it's Sunday night. It was like last minute idea, you know what I mean? So, really quick, Oscar the Grouch as a Halloween costume, fantastic. As I said, I was banned for Smoking the Bandit, but I dress up only for the kids. When I have my own kids, I'm going to have to do it anyway, so I'm sort of getting used to the idea that I got to dress up on Halloween sort of idea as an adult. Manga says he's the mascot of bitch moaning and complaining. Alright, I mean, fair point. Miss said, good evening. Happy early Halloween. Thank you. Joseph said, happy 2 days before Halloween, Griever. Yeah, because, I mean, I'm going to have to be, you know, I own my own home, so I'm going to be trick-or-treating and stuff. There's no way I'm going to have an actual Halloween stream. It's going to be a Tuesday. I'm going to be fucking, you know, I'm going to be eating, cooking, and fucking giving out treats until 9 o'clock at night, so there's just no way it's going to happen, so that's why we're doing it right now. Miss said, background is a little bland. Could use some decorations. Fuck you.
You agreed. You agreed.
No, I agreed to the idea that I need to change the backdrop. I need to add things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just a wall right now.
Yeah, but you make it sound like I need to add Halloween-esque things.
No, that's completely unrelated.
All right.
I'm just saying general decoration.
The way it read was different. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, no. If we come to the compromise, then yeah, I need to add a couple of things on the wall and stuff because obviously the bookcases can't fit there, and the new cherry wood is way prettier, so it's gonna stay. So, but yeah, I definitely need to work on the backdrop idea. It said really just anything to add some color and visual flair. Fair. Joseph said I did like to bookshelf for all the manga. Oh, you liked all the bookshelves of manga. Yeah. I mean, I still have... Back here, I still have the entirety of Death Note. I have Inuyasha up till volume 13. I have Lord of the Rings, and I have the entirety of Dragon Ball Z in the background. So I do have a lot of manga represented here. You know, I got Waluigi there. I have a Cubone, a decanter because I'm an alcoholic. I have Dark Chow from Sonic Adventure 2. And Kanigas is here. Hey, you guys haven't seen this motherfucker in a long time because he's always behind me. Now, realistically, we sacrifice manga volumes for Kanigas. And I think that's a fair trade. Look at this majestic motherfucker. So
It's nice. It's a little classier. It's good.
It's classy, right? Like, yeah, apparently he belongs out in the garden. And I'm like, nah. This man belongs inside, representing all lions. So, Mr. I'm doing alright, just chilling. Fantastic. Joseph said, I'm excited for Halloween. Oh, that's excellent. I just started carving pumpkins. Listen, I will admit that carving pumpkins is one of the things that I dread about doing Halloween because it's like a whole endeavor. Like, you either go all balls to the wall or you do like the minimum amount of effort, and either way it still takes 4 hours, and it's just like it's a whole afternoon, a whole evening, you know, because scooping out all the guts and shit is the majority of the work. So regardless whether you just take a drill and make a simple pumpkin or you actually spend hours carving, you're spending 1 hour or 3, and it's just like so. I just started carving pumpkins, going to his ghost face. Oh, you're going to his ghost face. I mean, classic. Like it. And my dad is dressing as the nun from The Conjuring. I mean, that'd be terrifying.
It's a freaky bitch. Terrible movies, though, from what I've heard.
Well, the nun in the Conjuring movies is pretty good, apparently. The Nun movies are bad.
Yeah, her spin-offs are bad horror movies.
That's right. Miss said the Sean Connery stuff was so funny. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, didn't that start making waves after he was already dead?
Yeah, it was one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, so then it's just like, man, that's outrageous. God, that's funny.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, all right. So I think Bill Burr did a skit on it too. Yeah, he definitely did. But at the end of the day, it baffles my mind that, like, they're, like, canceling old people makes no fucking sense. Like, you gotta put things in perspective and in the times. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna use 2020. And I'm not saying that people back in, let's just say, 1990, right? I'm not gonna say what they said wasn't right. Or wrong, or what have you. But to apply 30 years later, when we've progressed and we've evolved, and now we're going to apply 2023 standards to someone from 1991, bullshit. I'm sorry. Your argument immediately becomes invalid because you can't do that. Now, if Sean Connery said... every once in a while, you give him a little slap. In 2023, then I'd be like, all right, listen, man, what the fuck? But in 1976, I mean...
everyone slapped the bitch a little bit in 1976.
Exactly. So it was normal. Hell, he did it in his movies. He did it as James Bond, and it was looked upon as a sexy trait. That he put a woman in her place, and he beat up the bad guy, and he was James fucking Bond, you know? Like...
yeah.
So, I am more than willing to listen to someone who has a valid argument against ABC. What I will refuse to even acknowledge or accept or even, like, take the time of day to is when someone attacks, like, Jimmy Stewart or John Wayne, someone from like 1903. It's like, go fuck yourself, because if you, with your personality, existed in 1903, you would have been burning the stake and wouldn't have had an opinion before you could even open your fucking mouth. So be grateful that now you have the opportunity to open your fucking mouth. Be like, because you wouldn't have had that opportunity back then. So stop trying to paint everyone as evil before your time, you know? Because they weren't. They were a product of the times. Like, as we know, well, Misk, as you know, if you grow up in a certain environment, you're going to have a different outlook on life. Like, if someone's raised by step-parents, if someone's raised by a single mother, if someone's raised by a loving parent, everyone's going to have those slight tweaks. It's going to change their outlook on parenting, on life, on, you know, to this day.
Right.
So the idea that, you know, you can judge someone from 4 decades ago is asinine to me. Now that being said, we still have a couple things to catch up on. Joseph says, death has strangely been very busy this year. Yeah, I know. It feels like, was it 2020 when we had David Bowie, Alan Rickman, and all that shit?
Let me check.
Or was it?
I think it might have actually been a little bit earlier.
Yeah, 2019 maybe.
David Bowie died in 2016. Actually, I remember that. I was in seventh grade, I think.
Oh,
I think I was in seventh grade.
Way earlier than I thought.
Yeah, but I feel like I remember a lot of celebrities died that year. Like, I think Prince died that year, too.
Yeah, Prince, Alan Rickman, David Bowie. There was a lot of deaths in 1 year. And it was like, whoa. Joseph said, agree. Judging certain people by today's standards to people from the past is just such a dumb and unnecessary thing to do. I'm pretty sure it's called, presentism. I mean, they have an ism for everything. Like, the moment I say I don't like fat people, all of a sudden I'm 1,000 other ists. So, you know, like, so I'm sure there is an ism for what you're describing, Joseph. I think some people have even tried to cancel Martin Luther King Jr., Gandhi, and Roosevelt for certain bad things despite the good they did. Yeah, like, see, that's where I draw the line, you know? Because, like, alright, if you were to take a historical figure, like, it is an undisputed fact that Abraham Lincoln is a catalyst to abolishing slavery. It cannot be disputed. However, I'm sure some people will find some writings or something that paints him as, I don't know, he wasn't so happy about gay people or something, right? And people will focus on that instead of focusing on the major accomplishments he did for the black community instead. And it's like, yeah, the guy wasn't perfect, but you can't take away a man's accomplishments, you know? Like Tesla. Tesla invented, basically, in my field, he's electrician 00001. He has the original license, not Edison, Tesla. And the man was in love with a pigeon. He was fucking crazy. Doesn't mean that he wasn't a fucking genius and invented everything that Wi-Fi, internet, AC power, your lights, your plugs, your fucking everything you enjoyed in common courtesy today was invented by that crazy guy in love with the pigeon. Now, I don't condone the man wanting to be in love with a pigeon, but I still accept that the man had 90% of greatness behind him.
I think he was just a little weird. That's not necessarily bad.
Exactly. My point is that, but even if you had something bad, you can't deny all the extreme advancements that people make. For example, Russia was the one to invent the MRI.
Mm-hmm. There's a
And
lot of stuff that the Russians did.
yeah, the Russians invented it because the U.S. went to the moon. And then it was like, all right, we're in the space chase or whatever they called it. Right? During the Cold War, it was in
the space race.
Right. So they developed the technology by trying to get to space. They, as a sort of a happy accident, invented the MRI. Well, the MRI has solved multiple cancers, multiple diseases, multiple everything. We can take the good from the bad, And I hate when people try to use a brush and they painting one color. It's ridiculous because it does not work.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just try really hard to do this moral Puritan stuff for the sake of, like, self-affirmation. I think it's just an ego thing for a lot of them, that they just think they're so righteous and that there are no other people that are, beyond criticism. I guess in some respects, a lot of people don't really like the way that we idealize and sort of deify various historical figures. I definitely feel that way about, some of our own major historical figures. But I mean, when it comes to judging people from the past, I think it is a matter of looking at what good they did versus how much harm they brought about. Like with the Founding Fathers, obviously they created America. They created the foundations for the United States as it is. Whether or not you think that's a good thing or not, I think it's a good thing in theory. And you can also acknowledge the fact that, yeah, those guys did own slaves and did horrible things to them.
Like as you just brought up, Misk, the founding of America sounds like a good thing in theory. However, as a British citizen, I'm sitting here and being like, well, you broke away from the British Empire and cost millions of lives. Why? There's a valid argument towards, the Boston Tea Party and all that shit might not have been the great in the grand scheme of things.
Not to mention those Boston Tea Party guys dressed up as Native Americans to try to pin it on them. I don't know, man. That sounds a little yikesy to me. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. But see, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's, and I think you're agreeing with me, is that it's like we can look back at history and we can see the evolutionary change and we can be like, yeah, that was a good idea. But was it? I
think it's usually
mark, at least.
I think it's usually just a good idea to not, how do I put this? What you're saying is don't paint things with a broad brush. Don't try to make everything black and white. I think that still applies to people that we look back on positively. For a lot of them, I think what we should more so do is just look at how good their accomplishments are and still be able to acknowledge, like, yeah, those guys were kind of shitty people. They're kind of bad, and we can talk about how they were kind of bad people. But that doesn't negate the positive effects of some of the things they did.
Exactly. For example, I've brought this up before, and I think maybe you remember, maybe you don't. But there's a guy called Cornwallis, Edward Cornwallis, and he was part of for fans of the Pirates of the Caribbean, he was one of the founders of the East India Trading Company.
Oh yeah, those wonderful guys.
So, they dealt in slaves. A fuck ton of slaves. Okay? And he was one of the people to profit the most because he was one of the founders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when he got back to after about a decade, it was supposedly 8 years, 9 years, right? So roughly a decade. He realized by his own morality Slavery was wrong. Slavery was fucking shit. And he spent so triple the amount of time until his death. He spent 3 decades advocating and going to the King of England saying, we gotta stop slavery. Slavery's fucking wrong. He spent 3 decades trying to rectify what his own company was doing. Now, we paint this man as a monster. We tear down his statues. We do all that shit. So, 10 years as an asshole, 30 years as a saint, and we still paint him with one brush. Therein lies my rub. Therein lies my problem. Is that he didn't excuse what he did. I don't excuse what he did. But this man spent the remainder of his life, up until his death, advocating, long before Abraham Lincoln, long before Martin Luther King, tried to stop slavery in Europe for 3 decades. But because he was involved with slavery, it doesn't count? I'm just, you know what I mean? That's like what we're talking about right now. That history is not so black and white.
You know what I have to wonder when we talk about this sort of stuff, like if people can be redeemed for past actions. I have to wonder how many people would feel the same way if it came to, like, I don't know, some kind of criminal, like a murderer or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if someone kills a person,
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, for example, here, you've got some guy, abusive piece of shit, beats up his wife all the time, and then one of these days, it just goes over the edge, he kills his wife, he gets 25 years in prison for it.
Okay.
Over the course of that time in prison, he, I don't know, finds God or something. He realizes what a terrible person he was. And when he gets out of prison, he spends the rest of his life being an advocate for victims of domestic violence and, working towards all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Would you forgive such a person for that?
And this is what the churches and religions will make you believe. Because what
I do think it is largely, people's perspectives are largely a religious thing when it comes to this matter.
Right. Will you forgive the person? No. See, it's one of those, this is where we draw the gray line. Because you can never forgive someone for doing something so horrible. If like, for example, I know that, and once again, I'm a morally bankrupt person. I understand that. I accept that. If someone kills my wife tomorrow, I'm going to kill him. I don't give a fuck what the reasoning was, whether my wife was a bitch and doing some bullshit, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. You kill my wife, I'm going to kill you. End of story. End of story. And am I wrong for that? Maybe. I don't care. Because it's personal, right? So, as in an answer to your question, I think that there is this weird, people see the black and white and then they see the gray line as this thin barrier. No, it's so fucking wide. It's actually bigger than black and white. It's so vast. Because as you just pointed out, you have somebody who beat his wife to death or whatever and then has been trying to make up for it for the last 30, 40, 50 years. Should they be condemned for doing that? Well, yes, but are we going to take away the good that they did from that tragedy? I mean, no. It's sort of like, all right, I'll add a caveat onto your example. So, the person who beat his wife to death, yada, 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 ends up, let's just say, a billionaire, a millionaire.
Whoa, what is this conversation?
We're talking about morality and redemption,
We're talking
Dan.
about morality. So
I just heard
this
beating your wife, and
millionaire, right? And he ends up donating everything towards, as you said, Miss, domestic violence cases and stuff. So he makes all the money he took in. Let's say he was like a hockey or an NFL player or something, and he was worth billions or millions, right? And he took, after, doing such an atrocity, but he devoted the rest of his life and all his funds towards that. Now, my question to you is, the foundations still accept the money. So, moral high ground doesn't mean a whole lot when we're talking millions. That's sort of my problem with the whole idea of a moral high ground, is like, put a price on the number. Like, how bad is what he did versus how much he's going to pay? It does sort of fluctuate. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just posing the argument. Because once again, as I said, I'm not one to be the judge, jury, and executioner. Once again, somebody hurts my family, my dad, mom, kids, whatever. Guess what? I'm about to go at you with a hockey stick. I don't give a fuck.
We're really having ancient Greek philosophical debates here in a Discord VC. Band, how do you feel about people that do bad stuff and then try to do good after the fact? What do you think the standards are? What are your own personal standards for forgiveness?
If I'm going to be honest with you, I'm kind of a hypocrite because when it doesn't affect me, I would just say, hey, you're turning your life around. Good on you. But the moment it's someone that I care about or someone that's important to me, I don't think I'd ever be able to forgive them. I'd always hold that over their head. Like, no matter what you do, the person that you killed or the shit you've done can't be undone. You can try, like, it's kind of like, I don't know, like, from my point of view, I've seen what kind of person you really are. So this whole good persona is just a persona to me. But, that's when it's me personal. So it's kind of a coin flip for me.
Yeah. I think largely principles are a good thing to have, but you can't make every decision in your life based off personal principles. At the end of the day, we're very biased and emotional creatures. So I don't even know if it's really possible for people to have like consistent objective standards on things. Like, I'm typically a person who's opposed to the death penalty on the principle that 4% of the time, a person sentenced to death is innocent of the crime. And if you have a system in place in which the state is killing innocent people legally, it just shouldn't exist. But when you have cases of like a serial killer or a mass shooter who we have indisputable evidence of them murdering a ton of innocent people, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, give them the chair. So I have my principles, and then I have my personal case-by-case opinions on things.
The problem, I think, at the end of the day is there is no perfect system.
Right.
And I think we can all agree at the end of the day that there is no perfect system, because when personal emotions get involved, and even so, like, let's take a step back and think, like, people who think they're right. That's the biggest problem in today's society, is that, for example, progress. We've seen progressive nature since the late 90s up until now, 2023. We've seen major strides. Now, I would argue that some of these strides are not for benefit. They're not a good thing. The problem is that everyone, the moment you argue against progress, you're an ist of some description. Whether you're homophobic, whether you're Republicanist, whether you're sexist, whether you're misogynist, there's something there. There's a title for someone who says, listen, hold on a minute. And what's funny is that even back in the 90s with the Harry Potter books, the idea of progress was actually vilified by Umbridge, one of the most hated characters in fiction, was vilified by her in book number 5, and everyone agreed, like, yeah, no, she's fucking wrong. Like, progress for the sake of progress, like, progress is not so great. Like, maybe the status quo is not so bad, and like changing things that need to be changed is great, but changing everything ain't so great. And then we vilified her at the, and we vilified this character because it made sense in the 90s. Now all of a sudden it's like, no, keep progressing. And if anybody disagrees, you're wrong. And you're a bigot, or you're a racist, or you're something. They add an ist onto every fucking thing. And I don't know, I see that as a bit of a, you're closing off the wall. Like, I'm more of a liberal than a conservative, 100%. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've gathered.
But I do feel like there is a degree of, listen, if we're gonna slam the door in the face of everybody else who doesn't fucking agree with us, what makes us better than Republicans/conservatives?
Well,
because listen, at the end of the day, I'm cool with 90% of the shit that I've been promoted with, but the moment all of a sudden that I'm not okay with 56 genders, it's like, okay, listen, I took biology. There ain't 56 genders in the animal kingdom. We're animals. I took biology. Like, how many degrees do I need to plaster on my wall to tell you you're wrong? Without being called an ist. And the moment you make that argument, the moment you say, listen, I think, like, you can be you, but hold on a minute, we're talking science, people get mad. And it's like, well, I'm not trying to be a Republican. And then they slap you with Trump supporter, Republican, all this shit. And I'm like, listen, I voted for Trudeau. I hate Stephen Harper. I don't know what to tell you guys. I am support of LGBT. I'm support of fucking racial equality. I'm support of women's rights. I'm support of everything. But there is a line where it becomes okay. Like, I'm not okay with you having 6 face tattoos, 19 piercings, blue hair, fat as fuck, and I'm not supposed to say anything? I'm not supposed to have an opinion on this? Like, no wonder you didn't get a job. I mean, I wouldn't want you as the face of my company. I'm sorry. So, maybe that's harsh, but once again, that's...
Well, if you want to be pretentious, technically, every single type of view or belief system is an ist of some kind. Now, I'm going to be pretentious here.
Awesome. Let's go, Misk.
Get ready. I'm sure you've heard this one before.
Let's
Gender
go.
is not the same thing as sex. It's not a biological thing. When people talk about gender, they're mostly talking about gender roles. How people present and act. In our society, typically, we have 2 genders, male and female. That's kind of the standard Western social construct of gender, but you have other cultures in other parts of the world, not really as prominent, and you had some in the past where there were more or less. That's mostly just kind of how people fit into specific roles in society. When it comes to sex, yeah, biologically there's essentially only 2 sexes. You do have like the 0.1% of people who are like hermaphrodites. So it's technically a spectrum, but we mostly just think of it as a binary.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree with that. Maybe I used the wrong terms. sex.
You see,
Yeah.
that's just the way it is.
100%.
The thing is, with a lot of the like blue hair pronouns SJW people that everyone made a shitload of money off of doing cringe compilations of in 2016, you look back on what a lot of them are saying, and they're not wrong. They're just bad messengers. They're just really not good at expressing their viewpoints and trying to make their arguments. A lot of them are just really fucking bad at it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the issue more than anything else is that a lot of people in the progressive movement are just really bad at persuasion. They're just not fucking good at it.
That's a fair argument, because I've seen actually quite a few. What do you call them? The red pill people or something like that.
Yeah. The you know, like the.
By the way, Miss, can you explain what red pill means? I see.
Okay. So, you've got a lot of right-wingers who watched The Matrix and didn't understand what it was about and went, oh, you see, if you take the red pill, you wake up from all the woke social conditioning and you'll realize things that, like, hey, women aren't better than men at a lot of things, so it's, you know, nothing wrong with me saying women should all just stay at home and take care of the kids and men should go out and do work. Yeah, gay marriage is a little bit, There are some scientific differences between the races. That's the kind of shit most of the red pill people want. A lot of them are doing, like, scams for lonely young men on the internet to try and make them feel empowered and confident in themselves.
Alright, so from what I'm understanding, which we're going to be taking a break here in about 5 minutes, just because I have to pee. But really quick, so from what I understand, red pill people are people who believe in more the 70s, 60s, like the traditional gender roles. The man goes to work, the woman cooks and cleans, that kind of idea. Is that what?
Yeah, you know, they're right-wing conservative, quote-unquote traditionalist people, though most of the big figureheads you'll see doing that stuff, you know, like the Andrew Tate guys and stuff, they're just in it for the money. You know, they know they're just being very persuasive and talking to an audience that's kind of lonely, low confidence.
True.
So they give them these messages that make them feel powerful and important, and they use that to just make a shitload of money off of them.
Yeah, because I feel it works both ways. You have these the Andrew Tates of the world and stuff, which, by the way, I agree with maybe 5% of the shit he says, but 95% shit he says is just fucking wrong. It's sexist. It's, you know, sometimes he makes, and here's the problem. Here, I think it's a problem. The moment I say, listen, one sentence this man said was not bad, everyone goes, Andrew Tate supporter. And it's like, no, you're not listening. I don't agree with 90% of the shit that this man said. I think he's a sexist, misogynistic, fucking crazy person. But once in a while, he can make a crazy person can make a good point. Once again, going back to Tesla. Tesla invented electricity. He was in love with a pigeon. I don't agree with being in love with a pigeon. I do love the idea that he invented my job. You know? So there is a catalyst, there is a separation there that people fail to see now in 2023. But fact of the matter is that when you're looking at these red pill people, and people are saying mail order brides, or the you have red pill men, mail order brides, and the other one, passport bros and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I can't fault these men. I hate to say it, but what these men are after is not the modern American woman. And I don't think that's an issue.
Well, when it comes to a lot of these guys, I don't think they're very benevolent when it comes to these sorts of things. I think with a lot of them, they feel that they are owed affection, that they're owed companionship, and in a lot of cases they feel like they're owed sex. They want to view women as subservient to them, and that they can tell them to do whatever they want them to do. And I think that's why they're bad. And I think that's the issue with a lot of the, sort of return to tradition gender role stuff, is that a lot of these people feel that women should just be subservient to men.
100%. I agree with that 100%. My issue is that too many passport... For example, my own cousin just recently got a girlfriend from Hungary.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in a total fine relationship. There's no subservience there that we could tell. And because he just found that he couldn't connect with American, Canadian women. North American women.
Right.
And so when he went to Japan and he met this Hungarian woman in Japan, by the way, so they're both out of their element.
Right.
They found each other and stuff. For example, me, I married a Latina from California who's Guatemalan. So I do, to a degree, like, you're right, Misk, that there's a level, and I don't know what the percentage is, of people just looking for women who will be basically slaves.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. But there also is a degree of men, a percentage of men, who are looking for, listen, there's nothing wrong with tradition. For example, my wife does not wash my truck. She doesn't mow the lawn. She doesn't shovel the snow. You know what she does? She cooks and cleans. And there's nothing fucking wrong with that. That doesn't dehumanize her. That doesn't misogynistic her. She doesn't want to shovel snow. She doesn't want to wash the goddamn truck. I do that. It's not because male gender fucking bullshit rolls. I do it because I'm a guy. She does it because she's a girl. I'm not, I'm sick and tired of hearing, once again, this might be a low percentage, but at the end of the day, a lot of guys who are going for the passport bros, who are going for more docile women, maybe they just want the same thing that I have. Is that my wife will never start the lawnmower, and there's nothing fucking wrong with that. So I'm curious I'd like to know the percentage of passport bros, technically, who are actually going there because they want the Andrew Tate shit, right? Which is wrong. We can agree it's wrong. But how many passport bros are actually labeled as passport bros and all they want is just a woman who's not fucking fighting them on every goddamn thing, but also not putting their foot forward,
Yeah, well, I don't think there's any issue with that. The issue with a lot of these red pill guys is that they want it to be mandatory. Like, they feel that these are roles that need to be enforced and that everyone should follow. Just being in a relationship where you fulfill different roles that you both agree with and are happy with is what any healthy relationship is supposed to be, regardless of whatever you're doing.
Well, then, by that regard, I disagree with those red pill bros 100%.
Yeah. I mean, you look at what they're talking about. What they're doing is they are playing upon the insecurities of vulnerable young men, lonely men, which there are a lot more of now because of COVID and all of this shit, where there may be people who want initially what you're describing here, but these very persuasive, charismatic people that are able to flash around a lot of money and expensive cars to show how successful and trustworthy they are, manipulate them into becoming something worse. because they know that that makes them more profitable.
You know what? I agree 110%. I'll give you that extra 10%, Misk.
Thank you. You're very generous.
You're 110% right, because once again, like, there's some things, and once again, going back to that whole gray brush thing, there's some things that red pill bros do say that I agree with. But then they take it too far, and then it goes, all right, no.
And that's how you can tell that they're very good at what they do, because they start off with the stuff that you agree with. They start off with the more reasonable positions. Whether or not you get dragged along the rest of the way depends upon how easily manipulated and influenced you are by people.
But also, I mean, we can't fault those people either, because we don't know where they're coming from. They might be in a bad place.
It's true. When it comes to these sorts of issues, I am typically one who directs my disdain much more towards the figureheads, the commentators, because they're the sorts of people that convince the masses into believing these sorts of things. I would know. I was part of those masses for a time. I was influenced by right-wing media on the internet at a relatively young age. It made me believe very stupid and heinous bullshit. And then I just encountered other voices and influencers who were just much more reasonable and made good points and backed up their arguments with good sources, and I realized, wow, that was fucking psychotic.
If it makes you feel any better, here's something that is gonna, well, it won't blow your mind, but to this day, I still don't know what left and right means. Like,
Okay.
I look at hold on before you say, I've looked it up multiple times, and when I'm in an argument with somebody, I make sure to be like, okay, am I left or right? And like, when people say I'm a leftist, I'm a rightist, blah blah blah, and at the end of the day, the fact that I can't remember should speak volumes to the fact that it does not. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, people put too much focus, like you were saying, on trying to re-educate people, forcing people to have their own opinions. You know, like, I think this way, I think that way. Like, at the end of the day, I if I'm correct, rightists are Trump supporters and leftists are Democrats. If I have that right, maybe.
You're, in a general sense, yes, you're correct.
Okay.
I would say knowing the difference between right and left is valuable, but when it comes to the average person, I think it's just more valuable to know what your local political parties believe.
Exactly. Like, all I know is that I support liberal, not conservative in Canada.
There you go. If you've got someone that supports like good social programs, some degree of social progressivism, you know, they're cool with gay people and minorities, you should vote for them. If they hate immigrants and want to do more government deregulation so corporations can do whatever the fuck they want, you should not vote for those people.
100%. Now, I said 15 minutes ago that
you were going to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. So, I'm going to do that right now, but I will only be 2 minutes. I promise.
No, that's fine. I had some stuff to throw out anyway, so I'll take like 30 seconds for that.
Alright. I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back after these brief something from our sponsors that we do not have. Yeah.
Alright, let's see here if I can find a funny sponsorship copy pasta to read out here so we can get a message from our sponsors. Let's do let's see here. Anything good? Let's see, message from our sponsors. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Staying safe online is an ever-growing difficulty, and you could be exploited by hackers. NordVPN allows you to change your IP address, making you harder to track, securing your privacy. Check out the link in the description to get 20% off for the first 2 months, and thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Let it be known that this video is not sponsored by NordVPN, and there is no link down in the description. There you go. There's the message from our sponsors. Me. So how are you guys? Whoever's watching this, you doing well? I myself am doing quite well for the most part. Things are mostly alright by me. Welcome back. Oh wait, he's not quite back yet. Hold on.
No, I am back. I'm back.
Oh, there we go. Now he's back.
Yep. Alright, so I didn't catch up with the chat. So I best do that. So, let's see. Where did I leave off on?
My dog ate some of my pizza.
The dog ate some of your pizza?
Yeah.
How the fuck did that happen?
Well, when I looked away for about 5 minutes, he climbed to the counter, pulled the pizza box down, and started helping himself.
My goodness gracious, what kind of dog do you have?
A pit bull terrier.
Oh. Oh, that's... Yeah, I can see that. Is he one of those ones with the big fucking broad shoulders?
Yeah, they're kind of broad.
Okay,
Actually,
yeah.
not too broad.
Oh, okay, yeah. This is the thinner variety.
Right.
So my sister and her boyfriend bought a fucking pit bull. Several months ago. Actually, no, it was more than several months ago, and I think it was I actually can't remember who bought it. But he's one of those ones that's got these fucking broad ass shoulders. Oh my god, he is built like a fucking tank.
No, mine isn't built too. Well, he's pretty muscular, but he's not that built.
Let me see if I can find what specific breed he is, because I can't remember it. I guess he's kind of more one of these pit bulls. Kind of built like that.
Oh, that's not the one.
Yeah, he's a big son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He's nice.
That's scary.
He's very polite, but the issue is that he's more muscular than almost any other human being I know. Yeah, this is a more accurate depiction of how fucking muscular the creature is. Is that he's very nice, he sits around, he's very polite, but when he gets excited, he likes to jump. And when you have like this 80-pound fucking four-legged bodybuilder jumping up on you, it's mildly terrifying.
No, I can see that. Golly.
Okay, so really quick, I'm going to catch up with the chat. It's all Joseph, so...
Hey, Joseph.
It's no big deal to just read it all at once. So, some historical events were even overshadowed by others, like the fact that Africa had a hand in the slave trade. That is true. Yeah, when it's the topic of morality and redemption, it's hard to decide whether to forgive or not, depending on the situation and the actions. 100%. That's actually understandable. When the evil actions don't affect you, it's easier to forgive them than when it happens to you. Oh, I mean, I don't think anybody here would deny that. And if they do, they're liars, you know. Someone kills a mother, someone kills your mother. There's a totally different response to those two things. What type of person would you say is more dangerous? Someone who believes they're right no matter what, or a person who knows they're evil and revel in it? Death Note brings that to a topic. Yeah, I mean, I can't say either or. That's, yeah. There's an argument for both sides of that equation. Just said, it is already well known fact that gender and sex are two different things. I mean, yeah, but it's the latest. Since the 2000s, we have problems with that. So, wait, I know he said that he loved the pigeon like a woman, but I don't. He was actually sexually and romantically in love with the bird. Come on, he was socially awkward. He wasn't that weird. I mean, we don't know. All we know is that he loved the pigeon as though it was a woman. So, either way, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that Tesla was fucked in his romantic life.
It was a little strange.
Yeah, he was a genius. For example, if I start, caca on stream, but I also invent Twitter tomorrow, you guys are still going to be like, well, he's fucked for going, caca, I'm a bird on stream. But you're still going to revel in the fact that I invent Twitter, right? So, it's sort of the same idea, you know. Mark Zuckerberg probably isn't all there either, you know what I mean? So.
No, that dude's definitely some kind of reptilian or something.
Exactly. So
that guy ain't right.
Yeah, like Einstein wasn't perfect in here's the idea, and my father has always agreed with this, is that a true genius, and I mean a true genius, something that One Piece has been trying to describe and fucked up, but someone who is literally like a century ahead of their time is always going to look to the current day as being crazy. Because you can't have that level of genius without something being... Think of it as an RPG. You can't have a strength stat of 100 without losing charisma. You know what I mean? You have to have a negative to make a supreme positive. There's nobody on Earth who gets free stats across the board. Nobody gets strength, dexterity, intelligence, constitution. Nobody gets it all at once. Somebody takes a negative. And geniuses, they plus out on intelligence or wisdom or charisma. They lack in something else. You know what I mean? So, Tesla's an example. Einstein. If you look at actually every single genius in history, they always have a quirk. They call it a quirk. No, they're fucking nuts. But the fact of the matter is that are they really nuts, or just did they sacrifice social cues for being a genius? You know? When they did their creative character. And I'm firmly believing in that, because every single time I hear about a genius from the last 5 centuries, every single time they have something that's immediately fucked up or wrong with them. So, I'm 100% behind that theory. Is that you can't be... I like to think of myself as smart, but I don't think I'm a genius. Because if I was a genius, I'd be insane. You know, insanity breeds greatness in the weirdest way. Because nobody will think outside the box. We like to think we do, but nobody will actually think outside the box, because no one thinks... for example, there was that crazy guy who killed all the people in the bowling alley in Maine or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, and we were all scared up here because we thought he crossed the border. We found him dead and whatever. But, right. And my dad's sitting there going, But why attack a children's bowling alley with kids? And it's like you're trying to rationalize crazy. You can't trying to rationalize crazy will make you crazy. You cannot rationalize insanity. Hence the word insanity. If you're nuts, if you're crazy, if you're insane, it's not logical. It's not rational. And when people try to figure it out, that's when we have Harley Quinns of the world. People who tried to figure it out and got fucked up along the way. Like, it's just not Heath Ledger. You can't go that deep into crazy without getting a little crazy yourself. It's a wrong idea. Now, that being said, once again, it's my podcast, so I don't care that I'm not giving anybody the spotlight. Band and Misk, I appreciate both of you.
You're welcome.
Oh, dude, I'm just enjoying the show.
Alright, that's fantastic. So we already talked about the pigeon shit. Just said right. Just said Misk and Griever. Just want to correct something I told you guys a while ago. So the company me and my friend are creating isn't a nonprofit.com. We didn't know what nonprofit meant.
That's really funny. I'm sorry.
We
didn't know what it meant.
I didn't know. I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. So.
Yeah, I guess it was so long ago we forgot. I don't fucking remember.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
You're forgiven. We don't even remember.
I do love all your comments and your criticisms and such, but and your critiques, but I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. So let me just clarify what our company is about. We're a company of philanthropy. That's a non-profit. The deal with the advanced technology and dealing with issues in the world. So you're trying to be Iron Man.
Let me remind myself of what philanthropy is, other than just I am a rich person that talks about things.
No, I'm a rich person who gives money.
The desire to promote the welfare of others, expressed especially by the generous donation of money to good causes. Well, how are you guys doing that?
But like I said before, we're creating this company because we want to help people. I mean, Joseph, I'm going to just straight up say it. Great if you're doing that. But how did you start a company based on the fact that, like, that'd be like me. I loved Misk, band. Hey, do you want to start a philanthropy company with me?
That sounds like a great idea. What are we convincing people to give us money for?
We will give money to African children in this company.
Ooh.
That is our goal. We are going to give money to African children. Now, how do we do that?
Good question.
Because I don't have any money. Misk, you?
I've got a little bit of money, but I don't think a big social issue amounts money.
Band, do you have millions?
I'll give him $1.
There we go.
I'll
And
give him
lies the rub with this whole bullshit of a non-profit company.
Let me remind myself of how non-profits work. I need to remind myself. I remember it was explained to me like 6 years ago. What does it mean to be a nonprofit? No part of the organization's income is distributed to its members, directors, or officers. Yeah, so you guys basically just don't get paid for any of your work. All of your money just goes into continuing the functions.
That means that the CEO isn't a billionaire.
Yeah, you make your personal money somewhere else, but all of the money that your activities make just go towards doing more activities from the company.
So, all right. Let's get back on top. Well, we already talked about Halloween. Ben, did you talk about your experiences with Halloween?
Wait, repeat that?
Halloween. Do you like it? Do you hate it?
I did. I used to trick or treat here and there, and then I kind of stopped, and I don't really pay much attention to. I buy candy for trick or treats, but that's kind of it now. I don't really do anything on Halloween.
And Misk, You mentioned something, but let's get your full thoughts on
I I haven't really done much in the way of Halloween stuff in a while, and my mom lives in a 55 and older community, so there are like no fucking trick or treaters here. So I don't really have any Halloween shit going on. The the main thing I'm doing for Halloween this year is that someone's gonna start running a Vampire the Masquerade campaign, and I'm gonna play in that. So that's pretty good to kick off on Halloween.
Sure. I did see something in your Discord, however, now that I've rejoined. Hashtag rejoin the Miscord.
Yeah.
Even though it was a tentative role coming back because the first few posts I made were met with scrutiny, and it was like,
Yeah. I remember you rejoined, and I'm like, oh yeah, Griever's back, and then things happened, and I went, oh no.
yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, liking Lord of the Rings is a problem all of a sudden.
I'm like, oh no, you encountered the one person who had a bad experience with the Lord of the Rings movies. Fuck.
Yeah. That was bad. That was bad. Actually, I meant to respond to when you said the worst leaving because Dio left. And you said that's not the worst leave. It was mine or whatever.
Yours was fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
because of just how out of nowhere it seemed.
I meant to respond to that to say I stand by what I did.
I know.
I never
it
did.
was so funny.
But it's good that you like what like at the end of the day we can all laugh about it now. But because when I'm taking away from it, it gives you guys a laugh, it gives me a laugh, and there's no hard feelings regardless. You know what I mean? So
I have no hard feelings.
No, 100%. But what I mean is that it's one of those things where it worked. It worked because like you can make fun of like, oh my god, how much of an idiot was Griever was leaving like this, and I can be like, yeah, no, I stand behind that fucking shit. Fuck you. And but it's all good.
It was just he had no idea what was going on. He just posted his fucking Spotify playlist, and then you're like, nice double standard. I'm out of here, and we were all like, what?
Yep.
What?
To be fair, I still stand behind that because I was not happy at the fucking I was not happy at the double standard. Though to be fair, I was sort of looking. I will admit I was looking for because I had seen so many things that could be taken as bad or as worse as what I did, as how to say it, like
it's more offensive things.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, listen, I've seen more offensive things that are offensive to me. Like once again, I brought it up in the questions thing. It was like,
oh yeah, the Queen thing.
Yeah, people making jokes about the dead grandma, and I'm like, all right, I'm not happy about that, but this is your Discord. I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm not happy. But I don't say anything, and then you guys trying to get me to apologize, and I'm like, honestly.
So to clarify, I remember what general example, what instance you're talking about here. It wasn't that you like did anything bad. It was us just being like, it just wasn't funny.
See, and but it was in Malarkey posting.
Yeah, I know.
It's not meant to be funny. It's meant to be stupid, right?
Well, typically, we like the stupid shit because it's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, by that logic, miss, to be fair, how many times have I seen you, Danny, anybody else post something and I was like, I don't even get it.
And that's why it's all subjective.
Exactly. So what my problem is that I posted something that potentially is subjective, and then I got ridiculed for it, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I posted it in the appropriate channel. It's not like I posted it in the general chat or something like that, you know? I wasn't attacking anybody. I was just like, right. I thought that was just kind of stupid, funny, you know?
I think we should just adopt a culture of if you see something It's not really offensive, but you're just like, it's not really funny. Just don't fucking say anything about it. Unless it's Danny. Danny needs to be ridiculed
But
at every possible opportunity.
but you also have to understand that at that time, I mean, yeah, we were beyond like because we had the slurver and stuff like that. But
Yeah, that is anyone still using that fucking place anymore? I left it a while ago. I got bored of it.
I mean, I don't see anything. Van, do you see anything in there?
I'm not really active on
It's,
Discord in general that often. I'm not gonna lie.
it seems it's a husk now. It's a dead world. It's a
Probably.
relic of its time.
But even so, the fact of the matter is that we established that after certain incidents and stuff like that. But I mean,
Yeah,
at
I
the end of
recall.
there was no clear, real boundary because, like, once again, what I posted was not against the rules.
Right. Yeah, it was just that some
So
people just didn't like it.
yeah,
So they talked about it.
and that's fine. Like for example, Neve, but also if Neve had a problem with me, she could have came to me and said, "Listen, like in DMs because we're friends on Discord." She could have came to me and just said, "Listen, I didn't find that funny, blah blah blah," and I would have been like, "Oh, sorry, my bad." I didn't
Well,
like being called out in a public server and then expected to apologize because that's some fucking cancel culture shit that
you
I'm not
see,
agreeing with.
the thing is there, it wasn't like, oh, what you said was offensive and bad. We were just like, oh, it was just kind of cringe.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And but you guys, no offense, miss, but you guys made it a point that next stream you were gonna educate me and stuff. It felt like a fucking
All right.
cult.
I apologize for that. That was
Yeah.
mostly a joke.
Yeah, but at that point, it didn't feel like a joke. It
Yeah.
felt like a, oh my god, like now I'm part of a fucking, because as you know, and once again, I like a lot of the people that have joined your Discord since, like Water and Cave and all these other people, but
Yeah.
we were joining a lot new. There was a new influx. There was a new dynamic going on at
Right.
the time. And at the same time, I was like, all right, I don't know who I can joke with, who I can't joke with, that kind of idea. And then it felt like I had to walk eggshells
Yeah, I
sometimes.
understand that.
None of the
I
time.
get it.
Yeah. So that's all that realistically that happened. It
Yeah.
was just one of those, and at the time I was being, I felt, by the way, nothing to do with your Discord,
Right.
but I was feeling overwhelmed social media wise in general, like
Right.
Instagram, Snapchat, all this bullshit. So I deleted a lot of things. It wasn't just you. Like I deleted a bunch of shit.
Yeah,
And
I
I just said,
recall.
yeah, and I just said, nope. You know what? I need a break from social fucking media. Like, it's toxic as fuck. And, I
Yeah,
mean, we can
you need
agree.
something.
Like, Reddits, Discords, like, goddamn. The power scaling in manga communities in
Oh,
general.
listen, that kind of shit is just so annoying. That's why I'm generally happy that Discord's kind of just become kind of just like a general Discord server now. It's not really like an anime manga. Like we have the shit there because it's the Discord server for my YouTube channel. But for the most part, it's just kind of like a casual hangout Discord now.
Which is why I like my Discord, because that's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I like my Discord server much more now. We don't really have as many people coming in anymore, but we don't really have much in the way of fucking people debating and arguing with each other over shit. We don't have people coming in and causing drama over stuff. My mods do nothing because there's nothing to do. It's peaceful.
That's fair.
It's pleasant.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you on that one, in all honesty. I mean, that's sort of the reason that I decided, you know what, it's been long enough, I'm going to jump back into your Discord, because I feel like there was a reason to leave at the time, but now it felt like, like when I left, I remember you and I DMing together and being like, no, there's no hard feelings. I'm feeling out of place right now,
No, yeah, and I got that. It's turning into oh my god, a college town, this Discord server. How weird. It's just very different from when you joined it.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I joined it, it was one thing, and I was still sitting there in that one thing, and then, and that's okay, but I shouldn't have left the way I will admit that I shouldn't have made a drama zone when I left, and I didn't intend to.
I get that, yeah.
I wasn't feeling it, And
yeah, I get that. Yeah, it feels that way sometimes. Sometimes I feel that way about, some of the other Discord servers I'm in. Where, I like the people in them, but, sometimes just feel like it's not really my kind of place at times.
Yeah. And as I said, the worst thing that could have happened was when I rejoined yours, and then all of a sudden I have what's his name?
It was Chop. So Chop's a funny guy. Chop can be a little bit belligerent. That's kind of his bit. He means well. He's a nice guy. But when he was in college, a roommate of his basically forced him to watch the entire extended Lord of the Rings trilogy in one sitting when he didn't feel like watching it. So, his general perception of the movies is not great because of that experience.
Which is fair, but still, like, it was the wrong timing. Can we?
I just saw him start doing that. I'm like,
and then
why are you doing this now?
I told Bernice also, by the way, over DM, I said, oh, I see you got my color. Because he's got the yellow now, and I...
Well, when you left, we're like, well, fuck. Who was the runner-up with the cooking thing? Oh, it was Bernice.
Yeah, Bernice said. And I was like, you know what? And I congratulated him over DM. I did congratulate. I said, yeah, nice. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Because I remember asking Clover for it. I remember asking her, I just said, look, I just want something that's... and the whole reason wasn't to be different from all the other, like, Patreons or what have you, whatever the group is. But I just said, it's hard to look on my mobile because I'm on dark mode. Can I have a more vibrant color? And so I asked for something that would show up bright on the black dark mode, And then it was yellow. And then that's all it was. So that's kind of funny, but yeah, 100%. And I mean, if you're gonna give it to someone, you gotta give it to Bernice. I mean,
yeah, that man, good God, he can cook.
Yeah, actually, he and I messaged him, and I feel bad now because it should have been this weekend, but I was busy setting up this office. We're gonna be comparing recipes next week or something like that because. I just said, like, listen, I want to up my cooking skill. I'm sure you want to up your cooking skill and stuff. Like, right now, I have a sirloin inside round sitting in the slow cooker with liquid smoke in it, tinfoil wrapped. And it's probably already done because now it's 1 a.m., but whatever. But yeah. Let's double check the chat. Joseph says, so just let me clarify what our company is. Oh, never mind. We already did that. But like I said before, we're creating this company because we want to help people. That's fantastic. Joseph said, wait, philanthropy is nonprofit. Okay, me and my friend really got to rethink how to define our company.
Joseph, I think you perhaps should find some kind of consultant and advisor to help you with this. 100%. I think that's probably a good idea.
And the realist Medell said, you mentioning Heath Ledger Joker reminds me of Jared Leto Joker and how he tried to go full Joker on set. Alright, I'm about to go off. Because the fact that you want to compare the greatest Joker next to Mark Hamill to that piece of shit pretending to be an actor.
Definitely a pedophile, by the way.
Yeah,
Definitely. Also, he, I swear to God, he must have some kind of blackmail on Hollywood executives with the shit they've put him into. There's got to be something he has.
No.
You don't
Jared
think
Leto
so?
wasn't a Joker. Jared Leto was a pretender, and he does not count.
Oh, wait, yeah. Well, he was just dog shit at it. He was just a fucking terrible casting, terrible
He's, first
interpretation of
off,
the Joker.
horrible actor. Second off, a pedophile. Third off, he wasn't even good at what he did.
You know, I actually saw a good Jared Leto performance the other day. It's when he plays Paul Allen in American Psycho, when he gets fucking murdered after like 5 minutes of screen time. It was great. That's the best role I've ever seen him in.
Well,
where he shows up for 5 minutes, is a dick, and then gets murdered by fucking Christian Bale.
Yeah, I could get behind that one.
Very entertaining movie, by the way. Very funny satire.
Oh, American Psycho? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's great. All the yuppie culture shit. God, Christian Bale's such a good actor.
100%.
But yeah, method acting is bullshit. You have actual talented actors that have said, yeah, method acting is just an excuse some people use to be an asshole on set.
I mean, there is a degree of getting into the character.
Yeah, but when you have to do like the bullshit he was doing for Morbius, where it's like, oh, you gotta wheel me around in a wheelchair, or I gotta use my crutches, I take 45 minutes to take a fucking bathroom break. If you need to do that just to get in character, maybe you're just not a good actor.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Like, what I agree with is, well, I don't agree with it because I think method acting kills people, because Heath Ledger did method acting. And it killed him.
Well, yeah, that's probably why he died.
Yeah, because he locked himself in a hotel room acting like the goddamn Joker. It's gonna kill him. No wonder he took too many pills. So, yeah. Either way, yeah, I do agree that method acting there is a degree. You know, like, there's a degree you go for, and then there's a degree that you say, you know what, no, I'm good. So, yeah, that's the last comment, actually. Oh, no. Joseph said, since when did Jared Leto get all the controversy? I've never heard he was accused of being a pedophile.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some weird shit with him, like talking to underage girls or something.
Yeah. The Realist Medell said, also fun fact, Wesley Snipes went crazy on the filming of Blade 3. Yeah, I remember the whole eyes controversy.
The CGI eyes.
Yeah, the CGI
refuses to open his fucking eyes.
Yeah, that was weird.
Diva actors can be really funny sometimes. Like, they're psychotic, but they're really funny with how ridiculous they can get.
I mean, in my mind, not for these people, obviously, but it's no different than being like an NHL player or an NFL player. I'm making like $3 million. Like, I'm set for life if I don't fuck up. Why the hell would I complain?
Yeah. Jesus says, oh yeah, I heard he was difficult to work with during the Blade movies. At least the third one. The third one, which is the worst one by a lot. I don't know. He was just going fucking insane over something. I don't even know what. But he was just going fucking bullshit.
But once again, if you were offered $30 million to do Blade 3, would you not fucking... I would take it.
I'd take it. I don't know if I'd be an asshole about it, though.
One bad movie. Everybody hates me. I don't care. My house, my parents' house, everything's paid for. I'm good.
I mean, if I were rich as shit, I probably wouldn't care much either. But sometimes, like with that, it's just like, dude, you can't even open your eyeballs. Yeah. You can't even open your eyes.
Yeah,
my God,
he really hated the director. Oh,
that's
by the way, sorry if I'm saying it on stream, Misk, but sorry about your dad.
Oh yeah, all that stuff's a bit frustrating to say the
Yeah,
least.
yeah, um, yeah. You, I won't really. Sorry, I brought it sort of up, but I just want to say,
No. I appreciate it. Good night, band. No, yeah, I appreciate it. That stuff's all getting worked out. I think it's just always annoying and stressful
yeah,
and disheartening to deal with this kind of shit.
it's it actually. I mean, once again, I don't know American law, but it's weird that he was able to sign something.
Well, I signed on to it with him,
Yeah,
but I
but you
was.
shouldn't legally been able to sign.
So what's the legal age for that in Canada?
18.
I was 18 when I signed that as well.
Oh, never mind. You were an adult.
Yeah, so that was the deal, is that I turned 18, so I
Okay.
was able to sign on to it.
Yeah, because my dad and my brother did the exact same thing.
Hmm.
They did it for his Mustang, and then obviously my brother paid my dad back, and then that was the end of it. But
Yeah,
it yeah, it's something you're on the hook for if because actually a friend of mine, or who is now an ex-friend, he used to be my best friend. He wanted to go to pilot school, right?
hmm.
It's going to cost $60,000, and he was trying to rope me and another friend into it to co-sign on a loan for $60,000. I'm so glad I didn't do it because then you're on the rope for that $60,000. You know,
Yeah.
like if you sign on the dotted line, you are responsible for all the money, not just half or a quarter or whatever. You're responsible for all of it.
Yeah, I know my sister and her boyfriend were looking around for an apartment somewhere, and she was talking to my mom trying to get her to like help her co-sign for it or something. Like basically my mom would have to like in some respect attach her name and finances to it, and she was just like, "Fuck no, I am not doing that."
That's right. Your mother's actually pretty smart then.
Yeah.
But you're attached to that.
Well, yeah, because I mean the arrangement is I didn't have anything to do with paying for it. It's just the idea is that I'd be on the deed. So when it was fully paid for, it would be mine also. And his idea was that, oh yeah, it's something beyond just like inheritance or whatever. So whenever I'm gone, you have that. You can use it, you can sell it, you can do whatever with it. But then you have to wonder, couldn't you just put that in your will or something?
Yeah, it doesn't work so well when you didn't pay for it in the first place.
Yeah, it's not a great decision.
No.
He's not really good at making financial decisions.
And honestly, I mean, not to give you the sympathy card or anything, but I do feel bad that between your mom and your dad, you don't exactly have the greatest parental guidance in the world, shall we say?
I make do.
Yeah,
I
but
do. They do their best as far as they know how to, and
clearly
I
they
work with
don't know
it.
how to parent. I mean,
In regards to some things, yeah.
yeah. And once again, nobody would ever insult someone else's parents. So, but I just,
That's what I do. That's what I'm here for. Insult your own parents.
yeah,
Well, maybe
exactly.
don't do that, but
Yeah, I just, I guess from my own experience and with you being a good friend of mine, I just wish you had had better. How's that?
a little bit better luck, maybe.
Better
Maybe
luck.
just some people who are just better at learning from their own mistakes.
Exactly. Because you've also shared great experiences with your dad, like with cooking and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's not, obviously, it's not all bad.
Yeah, it's not all bad. It's just, whenever there is bad, it always feels like it's something really important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, so we've talked about Halloween relationships, and now we're into the more. Now,
Yeah.
the real question I have for you, Misk, is, and since you're in here, like, this was going to go in a totally different direction, but
Oh boy.
now that you're here, let's talk a little bit about Jujutsu Kaisen.
What a funny chapter there was this week. I really enjoyed that chapter.
I didn't
It was
read
good.
it, so I don't know what happened.
Okay, I'll tell you what happens in it.
Okay.
So, there's a little bit of explanation. There's a short little flashback of the protagonists deciding who they should have go deal with Kenjaku while the big Sukuna fight's going on. Because as a lot of people were thinking, hey, the Sukuna thing's a real big fucking deal, but like the other main villain is still just out there doing shit. So what the fuck are we supposed to do when he just shows up after all of this? Well, it would seem the protagonists thought of the same thing as well. So they suggested they send Takaba out there. Because Angel thinks they have an understanding of what Takaba's technique is, but they should not explain to him what it is, because that may affect how his technique works. So he starts, quote-unquote, fighting Kenjaku, and by fighting, I mean Kenjaku just tries to attack him. The attacks do nothing, and then just various jokes manifest into reality on Kenjaku and confuse him greatly. He's basically just getting thrown into gag bits that don't hurt him at all, but just immensely confuse him, which is great. It's very funny. Now, because he is the big brain, high IQ person, he tries to figure out what Takaba's technique is, and based on what's going on, he comes to the conclusion that, one, he's able to manifest phenomena into reality, and two, it seems to be based on what he finds funny, which seems to be our general understanding of how it works. Then he needs to try and figure out whatever the weakness of it is, because that's a really fucking strong technique. And if you don't figure out how to counter it, it doesn't matter how good you are at fighting or how much you know about sorcery. When you are subjected to unshackled comedic relief powers, there's nothing you can do about it. So he has a bit of a back and forth talking with Takaba. They actually have a very good rapport with each other, which Takaba notices because Kenjaku also seems to like comedy. And Kenjaku's strategy for fighting Takaba is to just do that really annoying thing where you break down someone's joke to explain why it's not funny. I see. That starts breaking Takaba's confidence in his own comedy, which seems to be the weakness for his technique, is that his powers only work as long as he thinks he's funny. So that seems to be where the struggle for Takaba in this fight is coming in, because Kenjaku basically just starts fucking telling him that his jokes aren't funny and explaining to him why. And then he sees this dead guy who Kenjaku just killed after Kenjaku's smacking on him a bit. And the thing with Takaba is that he is not a violent person. He is not a fighter. He is just some funny comedian guy who is given a really busted technique that he doesn't know about. So as soon as he starts seeing the actual very gruesome nature of these fights and how dark and fucked up the situation is, he starts thinking, how am I supposed to laugh? There isn't anything funny about this. So the next few chapters are going to have to be about him regaining his confidence and being able to do comedy under any sort of conditions. It should be an entertaining time, I think.
Yeah.
Not digging it? I'm loving it. I'm having a great time with it. I guess it's just an opinion thing.
I mean, if Takaba doesn't kill Kenjaku?
Well, I don't think he's going to kill him
I
anyway.
mean, no, but I mean, seriously, we already had Gojo losing to bullshit. Now we're gonna have the only one who could take down Gojo now lose to more bullshit? No.
Well, it's not bullshit. It's just how his technique works.
It would be. It would be because, for example, you just explained that the guy who has the comedy curse technique is null and voiding Kenjaku.
Yeah, his attacks don't affect him.
Right.
But he doesn't really do much in the way of offense. His power is almost purely defensive.
I mean, I still... What I don't like... Well, you just said that they set up and said that, like, the whole group said, we're going to send Takaba up again.
What they're doing is they're sending him to basically just keep Kenjaku busy. Is whenever this thing's over, the last thing we want is Kenjaku to swoop in when several of our heavy hitters are severely weakened after fighting Sukuna. So we need to send somebody to go keep him busy for a while. Yeah. And so Angel says we should send Takaba because his technique is insane.
I mean... It's not bad writing.
It's not. I mean, it makes sense. And now we get an explanation. I always kind of figured that this would be a weakness of Takaba's technique. Well, for starters, they establish for Takaba, red's a taboo. He doesn't find violence funny. So he won't inflict violence with his power. Anytime he fights someone, it's just him fighting people. It's not him using his technique to do that. I had always figured if you like threw him into a fight with Sukuna and then he sees Sukuna do some big insane bullshit, he's gonna go, there isn't a goddamn thing funny about this. And his power's not gonna work.
See,
so that's just kind of what I figured.
My problem is if you establish a character whose entire power is based on the idea of him finding something funny and it can negate everything, you need to have that kill something. Because realistically, Takaba hasn't done anything.
Well, yeah, he's a supporting character. He's a side character.
Yeah, but you established this is the guy who can kill Gojo.
Well, they didn't say it can kill Gojo. They just said his technique can even affect Gojo.
Right. And we're going to have him do nothing?
Oh, he's not doing nothing. He's keeping the other main villain occupied until presumably, Yuta
for 5 minutes? That doesn't mean shit.
It's just started. Things have just begun. Takada hasn't really had to have a big character moment. He hasn't had any development or anything yet.
I mean...
So there's the opportunity for that.
At the end of the day, all I'm saying is that you don't establish... It's no different than establishing, like, Hakari, he's better than Yuta, blah, blah, blah. And then you give him an OP technique, and then he utilizes it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Establishing Takaba as being this dude who can, like... Even Gojo Satoru would be affected by his technique. And now we're pitting him against Kenjaku. It's like, alright, well, he has to do something. Some level of damage.
We're going to find out what it is. I'm curious to see, because he's not really like an offensive power character. He's a comedic relief character. And he has the weird plot contrivances that center around comedic relief characters. So it's interesting to see how that stacks up against, main villain plot conveniences.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. And the fact that Maki and Yuta did not jump into the Sukuna fight.
Yeah, well, because the stuff going on with Kenjaku right now, is happening concurrent to Sukuna Kashimo stuff happening. Like, this is happening right after the Gojo fight ends. And then, you have Hikari, Yuji, Higuruma jumping in right after that ends. So I assume this Takaba stuff's going on, and probably Yuta and Maki are coming over here for this.
So, can you, since you know the power scaling more than I do, Misk, can you explain why Higuruma can't just domain expansion and that's the end of it?
Okay, so for starters, well, I imagine that's what he's gonna do. We didn't see him do it yet, though. So, weekly manga and all. You gotta be drip fed everything. I assume Higuruma's domain can be countered by another domain, and then you're not subjected to the effects of his domain. So that's how you can avoid being tense.
Can't do another domain.
Correct. The general assumption is that he hasn't, fully recovered yet. So, not able to do his domain again. So you trap him in there. And then, depending on what Judge Man charges Sukuna with, he gets his curse technique confiscated. So then it's just, cursed energy manipulation and hand-to-hand combat, which he's still going to be really good at anyway. But you have Yuji there, who's good at that. And then I think he's got some curse tools. I think that's what the things on his arms are. So he'll be doing okay, but he'll kind of still get his ass beaten quite a bit, depending on whatever else he's been given. But if Higuruma gets the Executioner's Sword, that's a one-hit kill against Sukuna. The issue is you have to hit him with it. Since Sukuna was in Yuji when Yuji had his fight with Higuruma, Sukuna should have an understanding of how Higuruma's whole thing works. So he's not going into this blind. He has an understanding of what to expect. So it's going to be a matter of hitting him. If Higuruma has to hit him somehow, that's really what it's going to come down to. Is just what the strategy is now for Sukuna is we just need to stack as many debuffs on him as physically fucking possible, and then kill him during that time span.
Okay.
And then if that doesn't work out, that's what the remaining heavy hitters are for. Is fucking throw them at him now, and then he'll probably die by that point.
I still don't see Sukuna dying like that, but alright.
I think thematically, narratively, Sukuna has to be beaten at the hands of Yuji. It's just not going to be purely through Yuji becoming stronger than him. I don't think anyone's going to become stronger than Sukuna, just because of how Sukuna sort of works as a figure in the narrative. I think it will be just through a combination of various different abilities and efforts from the other people there. Should be good, though. I've personally, as you know, enjoyed the stuff that's happened over the last several chapters. So, I'm seated and eagerly awaiting what comes next with my bag of popcorn.
As far as my personal opinion goes, I think you're an idiot.
I'm sure you are.
I don't like anything that happened since 236. As we know, because I dropped it.
Yeah.
As a result. But I realistically think that it's a dumb idea that Sukuna dies to Yuji when what has he done other than Black Flash? By the way, Gojo Black Flashed Sukuna, didn't kill him. So
yeah, I know.
I fail to believe that Yuji can kill Sukuna. with the Black Flash.
Well, that's why Higurum is useful, is because Executioner's Sword is just a guaranteed, unobjectable one-hit kill attack. It's just a matter of hitting him. You have to get Sukuna into a position where he can be hit by it.
Yeah, but Gojo did hit him.
Okay, but Gojo doesn't have an attack where the rule is if you get hit by it, you just die. It does, your fucking durability or HP quantity doesn't matter.
Have that? Yuji doesn't have that.
Yeah, but Higuruma's there and he has it. Also, Yuji has that body swap thing that they were alluding to prior to the Gojo fight happening. So I don't know. We're gonna see what happens with that. I don't think time skip was good, but you know,
I'll catch up in about a month and see what goes down. But at the end of the day, listen, here's the end part of this stream, ladies and gentlemen, is that I love Misk. I love his opinions. But he is way too on the one side of JJK.
Well, listen, it's just what Gege's been doing, I've been liking. I have stuff I don't like. I don't like that time skip before the Gojo Sukuna fight. I think that was a bad idea. I think he was rushing into it. A lot of the character developments and power-ups are going to feel really out of nowhere because of it. But when it comes to the general writing of the characters and the plot thus far, I like it. I like it thematically. Looking back at things in terms of a reread, I think it works. I think most of it makes sense. Especially with a lot of the other stuff people have been looking back on just kind of throughout the whole series. I'm like, yeah, this is all stacking up pretty well. This is all pretty consistent.
Okay. So, agree to disagree as far as that one goes, because Miss says one thing, I say another. And that's
it's the beauty of opinions. Everyone's got different ones.
Exactly. Misk has pointed out perfectly is we're all going to have different opinions, ladies and gentlemen. We're always going to have them, regardless of whether it comes to books, manga, anime, movies, regardless. We are always going to have differing opinions. And that's okay. That is okay. So that being said, this is the end of the podcast. Thank you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much to Band and Misk. Shout out your shit.
Oh my god, I have a YouTube channel. Griever probably has it linked somewhere. You can go see it there.
Well, there you go.
I also post my stuff in his Discord, so you know. You can find me in there as well.
There we go. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you beautiful people back here next time for some more content of some description.
Of the bitching, moaning, and complaining variety.
That's right. You goddamn right. See you back here next time, everybody. Have a good one. Sayonara.